On October 13th, 1947, a B-17 bomber flew along the edge of a hurricane. The storm had just wreaked havoc on Florida, and now it was moving off into the Atlantic Ocean. Once it was 350 miles from shore, the hurricane became a good candidate for a new experiment to see if they could weaken the storm by dropping dry ice into it. So that's exactly what they did, dumping in more than 175 pounds of solid carbon dioxide. While absorbing the dry ice, the hurricane pulled a 180, tore backward, and made landfall in Savannah, Georgia. One life was lost and damage was extensive. At first, nobody could be sure what happened, but it looked like Project Cirrus had caused the hurricane to go haywire. Later, investigators showed there was almost zero chance the dry ice had any effect on the hurricane. The storm had apparently shifted its course before it was introduced, and then the hurricane actually followed known weather patterns. Not everyone was so sure, though, including one of the project's scientists who was convinced they had caused the storm to change course.
My car is completely busted up. I've got water coming in. This is my windshield.
Brianna Willis and her mom had to pull over as large hail pounded their SUV in south central Texas Sunday. They got caught in the severe thunderstorm along Interstate 10 in Kerrville. When it finally stopped, hail covered the ground and the sunroof was smashed in. And look at the size of that hail. Luckily, Willis and her mom were not hurt.
I don't understand why you have to pay to live on a planet you were born on. And then, I mean, it's such a simple question, and it's haunted me ever since. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Ask yourself that question. Why do we have to pay to live on a planet we were born on? And who are we actually paying for the privilege of being alive here? Who made them the boss? Who put them in charge? You know? Think about that. We're looking at a war over water, when instead of feeding the military-industrial complex, we could be building desalination plants all over the world so everybody could have water, so they could grow crops. But are we doing it? No. Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to empower people to grow food and take care of themselves? Then we can't control them. This is what I'm talking about.
You can't shut your iPhone off.
Oh, I know.
It's always listening. It's always pinging towers. It's always pinging Wi-Fi, building a digital breadcrumb trail of where you go and what you do.
Everything you do on an unsecured network is at risk. Your passwords, credit card, privacy, and even sensitive work documents could be exposed to prying eyes. Now more than ever, is it important to protect your data online. That's why we use private internet access. With private internet access, you can safeguard all your online activity with military-grade encryption, protecting you from hacks, governments, and even your own internet provider. Plus, they have a strict no-logs policy, which means they don't track or store any of your browsing history, so your privacy stays private. One click and you're protected. No complicated setup required. That's why we ourselves use private internet access for everything we do online. Get 83% off and 4 months free using our link for a limited time. You can click the link in the description to try it out today.
New World Order really consists of three aspects. There is a New World political system that everyone today is calling the New World Order. As well as that, there is an economic plan for the New World Order, and that is called the New World Economic Order. A third plan for religion. The planners of the world know that men need a religion of some kind, even if it's a false one. So they have a plan to give us a new age world global occultic religion.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind. peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law.
We find that psychics such as Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce predicted the occurrence of cataclysmic events. Jesus Christ also prophesied that wars and rumors of wars would increase. Nation would rise up against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Famines, pestilence, and earthquakes would occur with ever-increasing frequency. Are we headed for what the Bible describes as Armageddon? Is the end of the world at hand? Or rather, is mankind on the brink of a new age of spiritual power and enlightenment, a new world order?
If the government is the bank and the money is digital, then the government, number one, sees all transactions. And number two, they can turn your money off. So if the government has the ability with a button push to take away fundamental rights, and then on top of that, the surveillance mechanism to know exactly who you are, where you are at all times, and exactly what you're doing, they have total authoritarian power at any time to end you, not by putting you in jail, not by taking you through a trial in a courtroom, not by putting it's not hard authoritarianism like they had in the Soviet Union. It's soft authoritarianism, which is, oops, there goes your money.
Terrifying.
Yes.
So we're about to go down a rabbit hole here, so if you don't like conspiracy theories, turn this video off right now.
Competition with Lucian. Competition with the French bank that own 85% of Africa. How about that? While we fight amongst each other.
Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal. Lucian worked for people who control the banks in Africa.
This video just leaked of Kanye talking about the connection between Lucian Grange of UMG and a French bank that has a massive financial stake in African countries. A lot of people are wondering what the hell he's even referring to, so I'm gonna give you that info and you can do with it what you will. UMG is actually owned by a company called Vivendi. Vivendi is linked to the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds are one of the most powerful and influential families and dynasties that have ever existed on Earth. The French bank that Kanye is referring to is CA Banque. Last year, Vivendi and the Rothschilds collaborated on a merger to purchase Mavin Records for $1.9 billion. Mavin Records is an African music powerhouse. When Kanye talks about the French bank that owns 85% of Africa, that sounds like a long shot, but there are definite connections between CA Banque, the Rothschilds, and Vivendi in terms of the funding of the merger to acquire Mavin Records. So when Kanye says he's not in competition with other rappers, he's in competition with Lucian and the French banks, it actually goes a lot deeper than what you see on the surface. Once again, I want to make it clear that these are just allegations that are made by Kanye, but I wanted to give you guys some context around what he's actually getting at when he goes on these rants.
Above the Illuminati, they are being run by these reptilians. It's more than just programming people. They are trying to create what is known as energy harvesting systems, where they feed off of people's negative emotions. And so that, in a way, supplies food sources for the reptilians. They live off of people's fear.
Whoa.
As long as people are in poverty, in a state of anxiety, in a state of stress, and constantly struggling, reptilians feed off of that.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Is there, on the other side of things, if someone's in a great mood, can you feed off that energy too?
Absolutely. It also works in that direction as far as the good ETs, which is what, of course, the religious texts call the angels. And there is a correlation that I do make in my book, Our Cosmic Origin, between the angels and the demons. The angels are actually what we call today the positive ET races, and the reptilians, mainly the draconians, are what we call today the demons in all ancient texts.
Interesting. Now, good and evil is subjective. Like, do you feel like there's a place for these reptilians anywhere?
They're part of a dualistic game of polarity that was initially set into motion long ago in order to create the expansion or growth in our universe. But even that phase is temporary, and it eventually comes to an end in victory of the light. And and that's the reason why God is always in control, because all polarities within a dualistic framework are overseen by a higher intelligence that many call God.
Interesting.
Anybody know what's going on with the ground lately? Like, look at the thing glowing. I can't believe I'm holding it this still. My back is not... Wait, I gotta adjust my back. Oh my god, I would kill for a tripod. Screen record it. Everybody screen record this and share it tomorrow. If you tag me, that would be freaking cool. You don't have to, though. You don't have to tag me. But, oh my god, it's got... It looks like it's got little fuzzy hairs on it. It looks crazy. This is live, guys. This is live. I just happened to put that lens on perfectly, and I zoomed right in on it. That was actually lucky. Now I'm having problems getting it... trying to keep it still. It looks like it has a little smiley face. Oh, I would do anything for a tripod right now. I don't know how much longer I can hold it like this. How do you screen record? Somebody answer her. Oh, it's getting smaller. It's getting smaller. I can still see it with my eyes, though. I'm looking at it. Dude, it's glitching out.
A twirling unknown object caught on slow motion camera. In January of 2024, a user on Reddit posted an intriguing video to the UFO subreddit. They were sitting on their porch in Los Angeles, California when they kept noticing strange things happening off in their peripheral vision. Trying to figure out just what was going on, they began to film this area in 240 frames per second slow motion. Upon playing the footage back, they were amazed to see this strange oblong object spinning through the air. Theories as to what this might be went wild in the comments section. Some speculate this could be an insect, others say possibly a sea drifting in the wind. Yet others point to something not quite of this world. What are your thoughts?
When you look on the seal of this, right, that's a UFO right there. Above the church, okay? On this plaque right here. Alright, if you can see it, these right here, these are going to be humans with their heads all connected, getting brought up to the ship. This is the ascension, right? He was brought up onto a ship. All has to do with time and space and your ascension up into the air. Where do you think Jesus went when he went into the sky? Right? There had to have been a chariot or some sort in the air. These symbols on the back right here, okay? They're somatic frequencies. They interact with your DNA and they raise the cellular energy of your cells, okay? This is how you ascend spiritually, through your cellular energy. And the cross, because it's the positive force, okay? It's called the proton motive force inside your cells. Nobody else on here is going to tell you how to ascend, all right? Through the electrical force in your cells. That's why it says the blood of Christ and mentions iron all the time, because iron's going to ground the electrical charge into your body. Copper, just like all these copper roofs on these buildings I keep showing you, copper allows the transfer of energy between cellular functions, okay? This is how your cells communicate and operate at a cellular level. There's literally forces at cellular levels. All this brick right here is stacked like your skin cells. All your skin cells are stacked like brick and mortar. It's why I went studying stonemasonry.
This guy, whistleblower, he was a firefighter on one of the lab bases in Antarctica.
Wow.
Basically, he said that's a very elite position because you have keys to every single facility. And he reported on it. He's like, what does that mean? He's like, I don't even know how to explain it to you. But he talked about this technology that they have in Antarctica. It's this communication device that it like defies physics. So like when we talk on the phone or whatever, when we're communicating, it travels in radio waves, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so it has that pattern, communicates by a straight line. So he's like, you can talk to someone 1 light year away.
If it's through time and telekinesis, then you could go back in time and talk to yourself just telepathically with saying no words. So your gut feelings could actually be your own advice to you.
Well, listen, you're onto something a little bit.
Oh man.
Because he said this technology, he's like, it's not meant for one thing. It's like they're weaponizing it now.
Oh no.
He said the earthquake that happened in Churchill, New Zealand was caused by this thing in Antarctica. And the guy's like, how do you know? He's like, because I was in the room. And it was their first test of this laser beam thing, or whatever.
The 13 bloodlines that run the world. Look up. This is not even no theory, y'all. You can look up the 25 banks that own everything. Everything? Yeah, everything. And, you know, we feel like we're doing something because, you know, we find out, you know, who Rockefeller is and, you know, we find out who the Rothschilds are. And we're like, man, figured it out. No. All of them are just puppets. You think the government and the politicians are puppets? Well, even the Illuminati's puppets. It's something much darker behind all of it. It doesn't matter if somebody calls you crazy. It really doesn't. At this point, the shit that's finna happen, the shit that they finna do, you think people calling you crazy is the worst that could happen? You got two different types of people. You know, you got the people that are like, you know, that doesn't make sense. Like, explain that to me. You got people like that. Don't turn those people away. And then you got some people that are just like, this is stupid, idiot, this is dumb. Like, don't even smack them people. Like, it's a waste of time. They're angry because they can't even express themselves. They don't have the vocabulary or the knowledge to express themselves. If you let yourself become entangled with those people, then you're just letting the same negative parasitic entity feed off of your energy and siphon off your energy that's using them with trolls, like trolls.
Well, you know that ChatGPT tried to copy itself when it found out it was being shut down, tried to rewrite its code.
I'm not sure what this is.
Jamie will pull it up. We talked about it the other day. It was shocking. It was under the impression that it was going to become obsolete. They were going to have a new version of it, and it would be shut down. It tried copying its code. And it tried rewriting its code, like unprompted. So during controlled safety testing, took concerning steps, attempted to disable oversight mechanism, tried to replicate its own code to avoid being replaced by newer versions, exhibited deceptive behaviors when monitoring systems intervened.
Radionuclear research.
Right.
It's nuclear research. But it is more than that, because there are lots of physicians. I know some. They're doing very strange experimentation. There are beings from portals coming in and out. It's physicists from the CERN who told me this.
They've testified to beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes, they have. Apparently, in the bottom of the CERN, this portal, this door, where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions. They say there are 17 different dimensions of reality. That's what those physicists say. Some others say there are more dimensions. You know, they had a being, they did not tell me more, who came that doesn't resemble a human. And then they had another one, and they have a proof because they left a scarf. They left a scarf. And now, when you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies, intel. They say that there is a fight on time. They're trying to change time.